What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. My Hero Academia, Season 8, Episodes 8 through 10. So in these episodes, basically you have all the heroes who are still able to fight. They use Kurogiri's portals to help Deku, fight All For One. Basically they're like they're all just trying to help him, like help Deku reach All For One because obviously Deku, he's basically using the embers of One For All because he gave it to Shigaraki. And so basically everyone and you see all these people who are in all the injured heroes who are not able to get there, like Uraraka. She's not able to help. Bakugo barely gets there to help him out, and then basically every like you see everyone cheering for. So you see Deku's mother cheering for him, and so Bakugo basically so Kurogiri tries to protect Shigaraki. He asked All For One to return Shigaraki. Bakugo dissipates Kurogiri, then and he helps Deku get an opening to do one final smash on All For One. You see All For One talking with his brother Yoichi's embers, asks Yoichi not leave him, but Yoichi says All For One needs to pay the price. So All For One's all alone before dying. Then Shigaraki inside like the vestiges. So you see like inside some mindscape, Shigaraki talks with Deku, and you have Shigaraki. Well, that's after Shigaraki, all the One For All vestiges, and Deku. And they defeat All For One for good. Deku and Shigaraki talk. But Shigaraki says he's not. Basically, he's pissed that he can't destroy everything. And then basically, yeah, and he tells Deku to tell Spinner that he fought to destroy everything. And so Shigaraki's body decays. Then after the battle, everyone starts recovering. So a lot of the second and third years at UA are helping with the restoration. Then all these heroes from around the world go to help, with the U.S. sending a bunch of heroes to help. With the president basically being like inspired by Deku after seeing him fight Shigaraki. And basically yeah, so All Might Deku's not happy about not being able to prevent Shigaraki from dying. All Might tells him that he saved Deku's souls, saved Shigaraki's soul, so Deku did what he could. And Bakugo's sad to learn about Deku using One For All, giving up One For All, and will be quirkless soon. And then All Might calls both, Dynamite and Deku his heroes. And so everyone returns to, UA. The third years graduate. So, everyone, you have Tamaki, Nejire, and Mirio. They obviously they graduate. You know, Aoyama is leaving UA due to what he did, and yeah, everyone prepares for like a goodbye party. And Hitoshi Shinsho is basically taking his spot in Class A, which is now 2A instead of 1A. And so then the Todoroki family visits Toya. Basically, he's about to die. Enderverse tells Toya he's going to retire as a hero, which means he only has one arm and he's crippled. He can only do so. He can't really. Yeah. I mean, Frank, when I read this in the manga, I was like, man, Enderverse alive? I thought Toya was going to kill him. And then, but of course, everyone in Todoroki family survived the battle. Then yeah, so basically, yeah, so what happens is that so Endor says he wants to he'll come every day to visit Toya, basically until Toya dies, to talk. And he doesn't care if Toya just tells him he hates him all the time. He just wants to be able to be there for his son. Basically, Fuyumi and Ray also want to talk to Toya, and Natsu basically he after everyone leaves, so Natsu tells Endeavor he doesn't want to be anything to do with his with Endeavor anymore. He basically wants to marry his girlfriend and basically not meet with Endeavor. Endeavor's like, that's fine, that's your. And one thing Shoto asks, he asks Toya what his favorite food is. Toya says soba, which it's also is famously Shoto's famous, so it's basically like they're brothers. They like the same food. And then you have Toya's mind apologizing to Shoto in his mind. Also, you can't get the words out. Endeavor tells the family he'll deal with the fallout from all the public revelations about the Todoroki family. Then so Lady the Gaunt is pardoned, but she decides, which Hawks tells the Gaunt, but the Gaunt wants to stay in prison until seeing how the world changes. Like she like seeing if Deku is able to change things. Then Gentle and Lava Brava are pardoned and reunited. There, I do have some issues with that, but that's and then yeah, there's just so many issues with Gentle. I freaking hate that guy. And then so Deku visits Spinner, tells him Shigaraki's last words, and then basically it's revealed that Spinner was able to be they prevent the doctors prevent him from turning to a Nomu. Because of all the modifications done to him. Like Spinner yells at Deku for basically like killing Shigaraki, and then yeah, you see News Brothers talking about Shigaraki. Basically, you'll see him as like completely evil, which he was. But he was evil. Some people think it was basically, and Spinner was talking. There's a time you alternate that, and Spinner talking about like their friendship, how they bond over video games and stuff, and how Spinner said that Shigaraki was his hero, and Spinner says that he'll write a book about the League of Villains to show, like, I guess their side of the story. Deku says he won't forget. None of them will forget Shigaraki and all. And he says the book should probably be a comic book. And it's shown that Kai Chisaki or Overhaul reunite with this Shei Hasakai boss who woke up, and you do the support items. And basically, like the boss basically yells at at Overhaul for what happened, and basically says and basically that was like better than having Eri having to relive what happened to what Overhaul did to her, which I agree. At Eri's age, she should not have to face that guy again. And then, so then with it's Deku's class being second years, all the first years are excited to meet him, and you have Dynamite. He's not used to girls being like basically cheering for him because girls generally avoid him. And it's funny, Minetta's pissed that he's like, I can understand basically, he's like, I can understand Midoriya and Todoroki, not Bakugo, not a delinquent like Bakugo. That bit was funny. So in Class A, is helping with some reconstruction. Some of the locals give him some food. And you see Dynamite meets Edgeshot, who's slowly recovering. Somehow he's still alive. I think he should have died. I think Edgeshot should have died. That would have made that more, but whatever. It's a minor thing. Then yeah, Uraraka is like, honestly sad about, what happened with the Toga. And then she goes to like, everyone's trying to find her, so then has a guess of where she's at. So they talk about, like, on this cliff where they had some conversation earlier about Shigaraki and Toga. And then Basically, Deku says he has the same. Basically, he's had those same mixed feelings about like with Shigaraki that yeah they did evil, but like he wanted to redeem them when they save Shigaraki's soul, like Uraka wanted to do with for Toga. And Deku says that all the stuff she's done for him there since their time at UA, even back the entrance exam, that Uravity's been like a hero for him. And so the whole class joins him. They cheer him up, and so you have Aoyama's feral party happens. Eri sings. Then you see at the end some mysterious boy, you know, walking out of some abandoned like home, like, and that's lead to the last episode. And so yeah, so these episodes were freaking awesome. Like the way they handled the animation, the music for all of them, the voice acting, dude, it's freaking awesome. Like here's the thing, this might win Anime of the Year. Like My Hero Academia in its last season might win Anime of the Year. That is on the table. I wouldn't complain, even though I think One Piece will win it. I would not complain about My Hero Academia winning it, and because I would say right now it's the second best anime of the year. But yeah, I thought these were great episodes. Next week's the finale. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing it end. Like, you know, I thought these were great episodes. Looking forward to the last one. Spy Family, season 3, episodes 8 through 10. So in these episodes, so Henderson takes the food to like the school bus there, and like that where Damien, Becky, Anya, all of them are like held hostage. So then basically then you have like a teacher named Austin who's injured. Harrison offers to take place of that teacher, exchange for that teacher being allowed to leave the bus and go to the hospital. And it's revealed, and Billy, who's leading the Red Circus group, reveals that Red Circus was a student protest movement that basically was wanting more freedom and rights for people in Estonia. And Billy's daughter Biddy was a member. So the government kept basically violently going after the protesters, and Biddy was killed. And so Billy joins the Red Circus, which at that point had become, due to all the violent suppression, had become very radicalized. Basically, they do a bunch of very evil stuff to go after the government, which of course is why Yor was sent after them. So Yuri's SSS team, they find the other school bus, kill the terrorists, and save the hostages. So the SSS threatens Billy and his group to surrender, or else they're all gonna die. Basically, then the guy who was driving the bus, uh, Anya reads his mind, learns that there's an actual bomb that he put there in order to blow everyone up in case things don't go their way. And basically, Anya also reads minds, learns that the essence is sending a strike team to basically kill everyone finally. In the seats, Anya stands up. She claims she wants more food, and Anya's like bravery like reminds Billy of Biddy, and basically Billy offers for Anya to get off the bus because she wants basically because his Billy's like basically his resolve is wavering due to Anya reminding him of Biddy. Anya refuses to leave, says she wants everyone to be able to leave and get food. And it's funny, you have Henderson's like she doesn't have nerves of steel, she has nerves of tungsten. It's so funny. Here's everyone's reaction. It's so funny. And so Billy grabs some weapons, walks outside, surrenders. Now Vadam, who's the one driving the bus, grabs Anya, runs. The SSS tries to shoot Vadam, not caring about if Anya gets hit, but Martha Marriott, who's Becky's butler, um, uses a taser, basically uses a taser to take out the terrorist and save Anya. Basically, she's a former soldier, and she knows Henderson, as manga readers are very aware of. So, so after that, the all the parents come by to pick up the in students. Damien and Anya are waiting for their parents for a while. So Damien apologizes to Anya for mistreating her. After seeing her bravery, Anya basically praises his bravery. Yor and Melinda arrived. Basically, Yor like she had called you know, Ian's college to about where Anya's at since she was late. And when she called one of her coworkers, whose kid also went to Eden's, learned that basically was on a bus that did not get hijacked, Yor knew something was wrong, and she ran all the way. She ended up at the bus stop. Melinda arrives with her limo. Basically, both Damien and Anya cry and hug their mothers. They're trying to you know, he's trying to save face. And Anya's disturbed. She reads Melinda's mind, so Damien thinks that Melinda would not be there to pick him up. But when initially shocked when Melinda arrives, he hugs Melinda. Anya reads she reads 11 times Melinda, but when Damien asks Melinda to not tell Donovan that he cried, Belinda's mind gets all wacky. You see mixes of love for Damien and also hatred. Now, the manga past this point has gone into some of Melinda's stuff, some of the stuff with her about why that's happening, and there's still some things we're concerned about. Anyway, so after this, Anya, Damien, Becky, and Bill Watkins, the really tall kid that does not look like a kid, they're all given Stellas, and they're all graduate comp. So Anya's like seeing that it is her era, so she starts like exaggerating some things, make herself more popular, and basically Damien's jealous because he's into Anya, basically, and so and Becky and Damien then says some really mean stuff about Anya. Anya starts trying to cry, starts crying, and then what's really fun, and then Damien apologizes, and what's funny is but then then basically Anya and Damien just try to argue who's stronger. And basically, they're petty insults. Everyone gets bored and leaves, which leads them to be late for class. And then while this is going on, then after this, so Austin, the teacher who was hurt, he's having some nightmares. Harrison recommends see Lloyd for therapy, and so it's believed it's that Austin's issues are from the bus hijacking, but then Slater night Nightfall gets some information about Austin to reveal that he's been having issues even since weeks before the hijacking, and to reveal that no, he's just scared of his wife, and basically they have communication issues. So Lloyd recommends how to communicate with how Austin should communicate with his wife, how they handle it, and apparently things improve. And then after that, your basically helps her coworkers finish their assignments, and they all go out for drinks. And your generally doesn't eat out or drink with some of her coworkers, so everyone so that leads to actually a pretty funny incident. So all the other women they're all drinking. The other women get complain about their husbands or boyfriends, whatever, and they're like, what's Lloyd's issues?" And Yor's like, there aren't really any issues. They're like, there's no way someone's that perfect. It's got to be a scam. And Yor's concerned because it's like she's thinking, well, technically this is a scam, but yeah. So she's trying to come up with some small things And then she hears all the women are drunk saying they just want to stab their husbands or whatever, whenever over their gripes. And yours like, I also have murderous thoughts. And she gets so drunk, she starts grabbing the knife and takes it outside. Then she's like, nope, can't do it. And she imagines herself like asking the shopkeeper for permission to kill Lloyd. And she imagines herself starting to fight Lloyd. And it's so funny. And then she walks back. Why she walked back out by herself? Like, I mean, this is like a Cold War era type show, so I guess the concept of Uber's not a thing. So she walks back. She's drunk. She's nervous because welcome home kiss is normal. So she's thinking about that. Like then Lloyd says hi. Yor's nervous. She like starts fainting. Lloyd catches her. Yor thinks he's about to kiss her. Then she's like so drunk. There's like steam coming out. Anya's sleeping. She's thinking that her parents are just flirting too loudly, and it's so funny. So obviously, it's leading to the next bit of the arc, where like the next big spy mission, where there's like the first bit of tension between like basically like hostile esque tensions between Lloyd and Yor that's leading to that. So yeah, this whole episode was funny. These episodes were funny. Like it's just basically you have the bus hijacking, then you have just the because you always have your serious chapters, then you go back to your lighthearted you know funny chapters. Like doing the school stuff doesn't get too serious at times now. Not so much now. There is some serious stuff currently in the manga. That's a whole other thing. But yeah, I think these were great episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Kingdom season 6 episodes 8 through 10. So in these episodes, so basically it's just showing a bunch of the battles between Chen and Zhao. And like you see different battlefields, you see Shin's force, you see Wang Ben, Wang Jian. You see everyone just fighting. So, the different obviously, Limu hasn't been confronted by any of them. But do you see like all of like obviously there's like you see a bunch of fights. So you see like you see all these like fights going all across different battlefields. You see, of course, the mountain people, and when it happens, you see this group that dress up as like wolves or something, like confront the mountain people. Looks like they're setting up a fight with that. That looks interesting. And then Wen Jin sends Shin after one of the generals. Obviously, they're setting up. Obviously, it's Shin's main character, so obviously you got to have him do something significant. But yeah, this looks like it'll be a these fights. They were awesome. Just seeing all of them like these battles going on with all. There's so many characters in this. So like basically like it's not of course Shin and his people. You also have everybody like because generally usually you have like Shin like his force, and then you have the King Zen and like everyone else being side characters. This one basically everyone's important. Everyone all like from Wayne Jian to all the generals below him to like your commanders, captains, where everyone's important. So all you have all these fights going on. So I'm looking forward to see like how all these come together throughout the rest of the season. Like I don't know how long this season's gonna be, but like looking forward to see how the war continues. So yeah, I really uh like these episodes. Looking forward to the next one. To Your Eternity, season 3, episodes 8 through 10. So these episodes, Fushi, Bon, Yuki are still trying to investigate the knockers. And so Mizuha invites Fushi on a date with Fushi, I guess, not understanding what that means. She like Mizuha like buys him clothes, and then what happens before that is that Fushibon and Yuki talk to the Beholder, who's going by Sadaru. They meet like Sadaru's, I guess, like legal guardian, where basically they turns like some ice cream place, you know, and Fushi like pushes Sadaru. I guess he gets hurt, or whatever. When he's mad, when Fushi's mad about like the basically Beholder not dealing with the knockers, and then so they're trying to deal with Mimori, the Mimori knocker, and then after that, so then what happens when Saru's legal guardian uh confronts Fushi during his date with Mizuha, tries to chase him, and then Fushi disguises himself, to shapeshifts in order to prevent her from finding him, and then so he shapeshifts to a lot of like Tonari's friends, does like stuff that they wanted to do if they were alive, and I guess the reason they weren't brought back, I guess, had to do with like their souls probably like I guess weren't able to be restored, whatever, due to they were taken over by knockers. And then so what happens is then um so Horitoshi, who's Mimori's stepbrother, asks Fushi basically asks Fushi for help. Basically he got in contact with Yuki. So then Horitoshi, Fushi, Bon, and Yuki confront the Mimori knocker, and like basically and basically Horitoshi was like being like tortured or whatever, whipped by the Mimori knocker. That was kind of weird. And so basically Mimori knocker just beats up Horitoshi, and so the Mimori's spirit, like her ghost, is like staying next to Bon, and like Mimori basically wants to die. It's basically her mother basically kept finding different guys, and then like basically Mimori, she I guess her mom or her mother didn't really like her, consider her basically like a burden, and that's why she's very suicidal and has trouble, I guess, making friends. And basically, like her mother was very neglected, and then like basically Horitoshi's like the only one to first one to actually well there's a lot of weird stuff. Well, Horitoshi's basically the first one to like I guess pay attention to her. Now, well, it's now Horitoshi paying attention does not necessarily make it a good thing due to his issues. Yeah, and and basically Mimori Knocker, that Knocker basically calls Horitoshi out on his motives, and like basically just starts slapping or like basically brutally beating him up. And basically, so there's like an essay that Mimori wrote about wanting her mother to take her on a trip or whatever this is some parents that which she knew the parent like her mother and Horitoshi Farm weren't going to be at, and then read it say, oh yeah, go on this play, teach learn how to swim, go on some southern island, and Horitoshi says he's going to do all that for her, and basically wants Mimori to return to being herself, and Mimori says she wants to live. And then so Bond throws a sword, and Bond, who was holding Fushi back, saying he basically wanted to figure out what to do before actually he throws once Mira says she wants to live, Bond just throws a sword at the knocker, says Fushi, you got no reason to hold back. So Fushi just attacks the knocker, but you get then this other knocker that's disguised as like one of the Mizo's classmates. Mizo Yuki's classmate, but basically like grabs the mirroring knocker, burns her to death, burns the knocker to death, and then Fushi makes a new body for Mimori's spirit to inhabit. So Mimori returns. And then yeah, so then Fushi tries to confront that knocker. He tries to, with the classmate. I guess she's still alive. She but also does feel suicidal. So basically, it seems like so some of the knockers seem to possess I guess suicidal people, those who want to die. So basically, the knockers, I guess, like replace them. Is how it's supposed to be. You're pretty messed up. And so Lucy tries to confront, but the girl doesn't remember since she's still alive. It's like a multi-personality thing, like dissociative identity disorder. So it's almost like the knocker is like another personality inside. I guess is a way to explain it. So like so that when tries to talk to the knocker, he's somewhat he describes himself as a fly or muscular. He's swatted away by the girl, and then Mizuha appears with her weapon and like stabs her, and it's revealed, and Yufushi stops her, I guess, from doing their attack, and then Mizuha regains control. It's revealed that the knocker that was inside of Hayase and her descendants basically reincarnated and went inside Mizuha. And it's revealed that the reason the reason Izumi's dead, the reason the girl is stabbed, is because the knocker was basically taken over those times. That's why Mizuha didn't remember it. That Izumi was and the girl were both like sources of discomfort from basically because Izumi was like forcing Mizuha to basically do all these things, be number one and everything, like putting a lot of stress on Mizuha, which and so that discomfort caused the knocker to decide to use Mizuha's body to kill Izumi. And I guess that one girl was developing feelings for Fushi, and so Miso being jealous, the knocker decided to just kill that girl. Now, the knocker took over that girl's recovered, so yeah, it's and Fushi's like he runs away. He's like basically like he's done playing human. So basically, based on the proofs, he's ready to just kill all the knockers. That's what he wants to do. He just wants to kill all the knockers. So yeah, I like these episodes. They were good. I still think Horitoshi's a piece of crap. Like I had no sympathy for him when he was getting beaten up by the knocker. I had no sympathy whatsoever. I mean, that knocker got what was coming to it, but I had no problem with it beating up Horitoshi. Like Horitoshi, basically, like due to some of his preferences, uh, I do not like him as a character. Like you cannot portray that You cannot portray that positively. There is no way to do that. Like it has to be portrayed as evil. Anyway, overall, I like these episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Tojima wants to be a Kamen Rider, episodes 8 through 10. So in these episodes, Tojima's groups trying to figure out how they handle, Spider-Man. So Ichio proposes having a tournament amongst them to determine who's the strongest, and that basically they train for the tournament so that figure out who's strong enough to take on, Spider-Man. So after 10 days of training, um, you know, they meet back up for a tournament. While this is going on, a female shocker combatant named Thunder Raiko, basically who is hunting down and killing combatants to overcome their brainwashing. Basically, we're trying to move on from being power shocker, but they still have the powers. Now she's almost beat by one who's saying that his strength comes from how he loves his family because he has like he has like I guess a wife and daughter. Batman comes in and saves Thunder Raiko and has her drink his blood. So I was like, wait, our villains are Spider-Man and Batman. Oh man, they better hope there's no copyright issue there. And then yeah, so the two monsters we've seen are Spider-Man and Batman. Anyway, so then we get to the tournament. So first match is Tojima versus Yukarisu. Now, basically there were some changes in the tournament seeding because Yukarisu didn't want to fight Mitsuba until the finals. Basically, she just wants to basically like knock him out with like a kiss or whatever. And basically, and she said, and Ichiro was like agrees since Mitsuba and Yukarisu are newlyweds. So he's like I can't argue with it. So basically, Yukarisu does like transforms to her shocker form. Tojima puts his mask on and defeats her in like he defeats her like in in the fight. And then so Ichio faces Mitsuba. And so basically that was actually a good fight. You see like Mitsuba Ichio fight basically so Ichio gets to basically realize that I guess they're like care for how Ichio's able to beat him all is because Ichio I guess likes Kamen Rider more than Mitsuba likes Rider Man. So basically they were able to like build up their determination, their care for and Mitsuba like is able to defeat like Ichio for the first time. Then Tojima fights Yuriko. Basically, Yuriko does all these attacks, knocks Tojima down, but Tojima always gets back up. Tojima does a bunch of big attacks, and then and basically, and Yukarisaru starts seeing them as like the real incarnation, real versions of Kamen Rider and Tackle, and so Yuriko then yells out loud towards the mountains how she's pissed about Tackle dying and Kamen Rider stronger. I guess something she was holding in for years since she was like 6 or whatever. And so basically, remembering how Tojo was able to, you know, fight against Spider-Man, Yuriko decides to do a big attack on Tojima and like basically knocks Tojima out. Then what's funny is after that, Tojima is like unresponsive. So the only time he's conscious is when he wears his Kamen Rider mask. And so that part was funny. And then for the next match, you have Yuriko versus Mitsuba, and that's supposed to lead to next. So yeah, I like these episodes. The whole the tournament's just so freaking ridiculous. It is so funny. Like it is so ridiculous and hilarious. Like I find it funny. I was like I was like this series knows how ridiculous it is and it leans into it. It's so funny. Like you have like where the yell like you have where Tojo was yelling, then Ichigo started then what like there so yeah where Ichigo and Mitsu were yelling, then Tojo joins it. He's like, "Run." I was like, what the freak? Like I thought it was freaking hilarious. But yeah, I like these episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Born After the Apocalypse episodes 8 through 10. So in these episodes, you know, so you have Yoko and Irie go to Lake Hasamigara. They basically they hunt some ducks. Basically they gather some losers and wrestle. They do some mud wrestling before they go to some tower nearby. And then they realize that Touring Graham's stamp rally could work even without internet. And so then they find this twin ring circuit. And basically Yoko wants to ride it, but you have to wait. They have to wait till the motorcycle's charged. And they get all the digital stamp. And then Yoko hears some she hears engines that aren't there. And like while they're camping, Irie asks about what's basically the concept of a soul. Yoko remembers her past on the track. So Yoko, while the battery's going on, runs the circuit. And then basically, so after Yoko does it, Irie gets on the motorcycle and they ride together. Part of it due to Irie can't drive because she's short. Like her feet, I guess, can't reach the pedals or whatever. And so basically, then they find this building in like the Honda collection hall. They restore power, awaken a maintenance bot named ISOC, and basically they see all these machines, in the collection hall, like these 500cc Grand Prix bikes, Formula One cars, and ISOC confirms to Yoko that there are no people there. And then Yoko dreams of riding a bike on that track, and there's like a bike that she wants to there's like a number 46 bike she wants to ride, and then basically she rides it while Irie drives a sports car, like remote control sports car. And Isaac remembers like the racetrack back when it was in use, and Yoko sees the spirits of all these vehicles, and it would cause her to crash. And it's real that Yoko is the only one who saw the visions that no one else saw, and Isaac basically now shut down, lost all power. And then Yoko starts wondering the machines and places they went to have souls too. And basically wonders that's what's causing her to have those dreams. So which is an interesting thing to like that's interesting to see, okay, that concept to figure out, okay, is this what happened? Okay. So yeah, so then after that, you know, after that happens, they're trying to basically they're going around, they're trying to find this one area, but it's underwater. And so yeah, so obviously, then basically they keep going around like what's going. So they find like area. They get to this beach, and then like so then they're go around. So obviously they're still trying to collect stamps and all that. And then there's a whole bit of Yoko trying to prevent Irie from seeing all these corpses. And you see like and it's just funny how basically the world's all gone to crap and they're just having fun walking around. Like it's like what the frick. But yeah, I thought these were good episodes. Interesting stuff with Yoko's visions. Curious what the deal with that is. Like, I'm curious what the deal with it is. That it like it looks like it could be something like I don't know, like Yoko's like just has implanted with memories of a past life, like where she's a clone, like a android, whatever. With like it's interesting. So I thought these were all really good episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Digimon Beatbreak episodes 8 through 10. So in these episodes, so one of them you have, so there's these students that are disappearing. Basically, so like these students with high grades. And basically they're kidnapped by Digimon named Mimicmon. And yeah, so basically how that happens is, so like then while this is going on, Tomura is trying to investigate it, And he told me comes across him. Basically, he told me sees Gekomon and she learns about Digimon and all that. And says, oh, so, and she says she wasn't doing because she mentioned how she was attacked by a wolf Digimon. So Tomura and Hitomi trying to investigate what's going on, the missing students. It's revealed that the owner of Mimic Vaughn basically wanted to be the top ranked student in the class. It said if they were gone, he would be number one. So Mimic Vaughn took upon himself to just kidnap them, trap them inside his data. And when the owner tried to stop it, the owner was trapped. Then Tomoro gets trapped, but then and then basically yeah. So while it's going, then after after his students are freed, the Mimic Mon's defeated. This government group, S group, comes in, basically captures Mimicmon, and like there's like saying so enters this group. I guess at the like it's interesting because it's like okay, we got some like secret government group going after dealing with Digimon. Okay, that's interesting. Then after that, um, yeah, you see and then basically you see this focuses on Makoto and this girl named Haruko. Basically, so there's a hunt for a Digimon called Golden Numon. So Haruko uses Shanemon to take over Chiramon and causes Chiramon to leave Makoto and to work for Haruko. Then in the next episode deals with so basically the group tries to save Chiramon. And then Haruko's father. Yeah, so basically he's like manipulating Haruko, and like basically the team, like so the team Glow and Dawn goes after Haruko and her father. Haruko like tries to control Dropmon using some power. She's defeated. She makes peace with Makoto, and then her father gets beat up for basically for all the evil stuff he was doing. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode. You know, I thought these were all good episodes. Like you see all the stuff in these introducing new Digimon. You know, we've seen that okay, someone can recover from that. Like the whole issue, so we know he told me recover, so that means that Tomoro's brother could recover. And like, dude, I like the so like we're finally getting Digivolve. So Trotmon Digivolve, so now hopefully Gekomon Digivolve soon. And yes, it's Digimon Volve. It's not Evo. Yes, it's Evo, but it's Digivolve. That is how Digimon works. It's Digivolve. So yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Kyo punching Haruka's dad. That was pretty satisfying. That was freaking satisfying. So yeah, I really like these episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Fackham Hall. So this is a comedy movie. It's a parody of period dramas. Like so, all the characters are British. They're like so you have a lot of aristocrats. So yeah, so this movie focuses on the Davenport family. They're the basically the house for Fackham Hall, and there's like a inheritance issue. So for Lord the Humphrey Davenport, basically his four sons are killed. They're all dead. They die. Like you have his sons' names are George, John, Paul, and Ringo. Yes, they were named after the Beatles, or I mean the Beatles weren't born yet, but basically production wise, they were named after the Beatles. So like one died in Titanic, one died in Hindenburg, one died basically I guess he jerked off so hard he died. Can't remember the fourth. I can't remember the fourth one. Like it's just stupid. Like the death. I was like, holy crap, they're getting away with some stuff. Anyway, so the closest known male heir is Archibald Davenport, played by Tom Felton, who everyone knows is Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter. So he's the first cousin to Davenport's daughters, Rose and Poppy. Now, now one of the things is I guess these are aristocrats, so they like to keep things in the family. Like the on Fackham Hall, the motto is like it was like incestuous ad infinitum, something like that. Like there's a bunch of jokes about their aristocrats do incest. So basically, our marriage is arranged between Poppy and Archibald, as the you know Lord and Lady Davenport put it, is like Poppy's finally found the right cousin. So basically, while this is going on, so a basically a pickpocket named Eric No One. He's like an orphan. Basically, he's sent to deliver a letter to Fackham Hall. He comes across a Rose Davenport. Basically, his bike runs into her car when they're both not paying attention because they're staring at each other. So then Eric's not able to deliver the letter. Basically, he's basically kind of walks in like this basically this the butler named Siri, basically who exists just to make jokes about Siri, like the like Siri, like hey Siri, what's the weather today, what's like, and Siri literally talks like that. And they joke they got rid of someone, the Davenports got rid of Alexa because they were concerned about Alexa listening on their conversations, and they're concerned about Siri listening. Those jokes were funny. And so what happens then is and then Siri has signs Eric to be a hall boy, thinking he's there to apply a job. And when Eric hears the pay, he's like, "I'll take it." So then he starts, doing some deeds. He and Rose are obviously into each other. So Eric does use his tax to take advantage, so time to see her, and then he pisses off you know they so the head servant lady whatever, like basically she wants to she's annoyed by him, like things like Miss McAllister or whatever. She's annoyed by Eric. She tries to fire him a few times, and then basically, so during the wedding, Poppy backs out, says she doesn't love Archibald. She runs off with this guy, one guy who basically picks up picks up manure. They run off. Now the guy cheats on her a lot and leaves her, and so Poppy's like kind of like all alone. Anyway, near the end. Anyway, so what happens is basically Rose, who's single, basically everyone hates Archibald, but he's just the closest known male heir, basically. So Lord Lane Downpour tried to get Archibald and Rose to marry so that they can keep living in Fackham Hall. And so, but Rose is into like Eric, and basically, so like one thing that happens is so and so like basically when Archibald tries to like force Rose to dance with him, and when Rose says no, she keeps resisting. Eric comes in to defend Rose, and basically that leads to a whole bit where and that leads to where Siri and basically McAllister tell Eric that basically he's fired, that him staying up to Archibald was not something a servant should do. So the night before he's supposed to leave, he and Rose go to a pub, where basically Rose basically hangs out with basically the commoners for the first time. Then they go to a barn and in Fackham Hall and have sex. And then basically next day, Lord Davenport is found dead, and so Inspector Watt is called in to investigate. Everyone's a suspect, so Eric can't leave. Now, like basically due to Eric has the idea when he sees that so when Archibald officially proposed to Rose, basically due to like since Rose might be forced to marry, Eric steals money out of Davenport's desk and offers to take Rose away with him, and then but they're caught basically and there's murder weapons found in Eric's bed, so people think that basically Eric's framed for Davenport's death. So he's put in prison, and so Rose agrees to marry Archibald, and then even though she doesn't want to, basically, Poppy, she's now alone, and then they're in the wedding, while they're doing all the vows and crap. So Eric reads the letter, learns that he is actually, Archibald's long lost older brother, Nathaniel, who was believed to have died in World War One, like missing or killed in World War One. Basically, was like a random little kid that joined the military. Basically, I guess Eric just had no memory of his life, or was so young he couldn't remember. Basically, no trace, so grew up as an orphan. But basically, the letter shows that he is basically the rightful heir to Fackham Hall. So he escapes with the help of his cellmate, who is in there for having sex with a donkey. So he and the donkey screwer make it to the wedding. Now, when Eric gets out of the prison, he's confronted by McAllister. He says he has a letter, proves everything. It is tell the truth. Now McAllister chases him, and then she confronts with knife, says that she thinks that Eric's gonna tell everyone that she killed Davenport. Eric's like, wait, what? No. And then Watt hears everything that McAllister said, and arrests her for manslaughter because it's revealed that McAllister and Davenport were having an affair, and they're in an argument about Eric. Um, Basically, Davenport accidentally impaled himself, and then what's and then McAllister tried to shoot the thing off, failed, kept hitting him, tried to use acid to get it off, and Davenport drank a bottle of poison, think it was a bottle of alcohol, and so yeah, so it's explained how he died. So basically, it's an accident. So McAllister's taken away, and then Eric runs in, said shows the letter, says that basically he's the rightful heir, and then Archibald tries to shoot Nathaniel, but he missed because he's a bad shot. It was shown there in an earlier hunting trip where he accidentally shot Lord Davenport when trying to load the gun before Eric basically shoved off, and his very good shooting skills. So yeah, so Eric and Rose get married, you know, and so the family stays in Fackham Hall. Then you see so the priest had a square mustache, like the priest officially had a square mustache, and was said to have died in a bunker in April of 1940 in a bunker in Germany in April of 1945, implying that it was Hitler, and that Lady Davenport campaigned to take away women's rights. Poppy had a bunch of left the altar a bunch of times before marrying the second cousin, which broke tradition in the family because I guess they like to keep it as first cousins. Archibald tried to shoot himself, but missed. Lord Davenport stayed dead, of course. And basically, so one of the things I was told, one of Davenport's classmates who attended the weddings was J.R.R. Tolkien. Basically, he's trying to find inspiration for Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Silmarillion, Unfinished Tales, and he speaks Orcish, like the Orc language, briefly. And so the donkey screwer. So how he comes up with so he hears Davenport, Lady Davenport talking about like something that's precious. So he comes up with like like one of the phrases that she says is like like Davenport's asking where something's at. Lady Davenport says it's in your trousers, my precious. And Tolkien's like, wait, say that again. He's like, my in your trousers, okay. And then when he talks to the donkey screwer. Donkey screwer introduces himself as Bilbo Baggins. So, and then the donkey screwer sues Tolkien for ruining his good name for writing him about, basically for writing the main character of The Hobbit after him, claiming that it ruined his good name. That by writing creating Bilbo, the character of Bilbo Baggins, that he ruined the good name of a donkey screwer. I was like, what the frick? But this was this was really funny. This is definitely one of the funniest movies of the year. Good spoof of period dramas. I didn't watch Downton Abbey. Didn't really care to watch it. Don't ever plan on watching it. This was freaking funny. Like it just makes fun of all the issues with the aristocracy. Like, to be honest, I don't know what these people do for work, how they make money. If they're like it's like the royal family, what do they actually do? But yeah, I thought this was a really good movie. I recommend watching it. Well, that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that, and look forward to the next video.